Sending you over to something called Puffy Flavour Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavour Camp.
Yeah,
Flavour
that's
Camp.
what it was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
In the 90s. Do you understand what that's like?
Hey everyone, it's your favorite gossip girl back with some juicy news. Now, more and more artists are speaking about the horrors that they have experienced with Diddy. And even though Usher and Puffy go way back and have a tight bond, it did not stop him from talking about what happens behind closed doors, especially the things that Diddy made him do in his so-called Flavour Camp.
I was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it. And it was but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
It is not new to hear stories about Puffy's problematic behavior. A lot of people have actually shared shady stories about him as well, which make a lot of people believe that there is certainly something wrong with this guy.
I was having a good time, you know what I mean?
Does he have you doing any chores? Are you doing dishes at all? I mean, to keep you humble somewhat? Or are you just like, can you stay up till 4 in the morning with them and party?
I mean, I could.
Add to the fact that Hollywood and the music industry have dark secrets that are often talked about but were never really addressed seriously. I'm talking about all the alleged abuse and how some big names and higher-ups are often taking advantage of new and young talents before they help them with their careers. This is exactly what happened to Usher, apparently. So, for those of you who do not know, this guy started off young and has been through a lot before he made it big in the industry. I mean, we get it. Being in this industry means that you have to have connections and build networks, especially with people like Diddy. He got a lot of friends in the first place because of his money and influence. I bet that all of you already heard about inappropriate details of his parties and how he is closeted and uses his power to satisfy his pleasure.
I think they never been to a Diddy party. If you not dancing,
I just got hard.
then you got to go. So security, if you see somebody and they not dancing, they got to go.
I heard with dance.
Oh gosh, these issues and controversies about Puffy should be taken seriously, since there are proofs showing that he is actually the dude that people are saying he is. But nothing could justify what he is doing to these young boys, including Usher, who used to be under his care at such a very young age. This is a disturbing topic, although many big names have already called him out and even his former bodyguard has exposed him for his shady attitude. Puffy is still confident to prey on others as he knows that he is untouchable. Oh gosh, when will these people pay for their wrongdoings? Well, this is just one of the many problems in the industry. Not only is Diddy accused of grooming young artists, but he has also been entangled with some legal issues, including Tupac's death, being violent when he is drunk, and a lot more. It is kind of an open secret that you have to be willing to follow what Diddy would ask of you before he helps you, no matter how talented you are. Some celebs do not even want to rat him out or be involved in any drama with him because they know how influential he can be. Even if a lot of them have something to say about him as they experienced it firsthand, they often refuse to talk about him out of fear and threat. And even though Usher never really exposed him in a hateful way, he dropped hints a couple of times already about what goes on in Puffy's infamous Flavour Camp.
What I did say is that there were very curious things taking place, and I didn't necessarily understand it.
Biggie Smalls was there.
Biggie Smalls was there, Lil' Kim, Craig Mack.
All these people.
I bet that some of you do not know how Usher got into that camp. Let me walk you through that. At a young age, a lot of people already noticed Usher's potential to carve his name through his music, but it does not mean that he had it easy and was handed everything that he needed at that time. But to cut the long story short, L.A. Reid, the representative for the record label that Usher was signed into, sent him to Puff's Flavour Camp. Even his own mom agreed to this, which made things worse. Diddy once mentioned that he had legal guardianship of Usher at the time that he lived with him. Why would they even allow a 14-year-old to live with someone like Puff? Oh yes, because that would give him higher chances to be known all over the world, because apparently in this business, just like all others, you wouldn't be able to go far if you do not associate yourself with people like him. What a creep though. Usher made it though, but he was not the only one who was allegedly groomed by Diddy. These young boys experienced more than making music, but were also forced to do stuff that is not appropriate for their age. Puff Daddy even brought Usher to clubs and parties, even though he was only 14 at that time, and even allowed him to drink alcohol. That is so sick. If you are Usher's fan and want to get to know him even more, then make sure that you hit that subscribe button because I have got more to talk about. Always stay tuned, so turn on your notification as well. Now, going back to the video. Ed Lover, another fellow rapper of these artists, told a story about how he saw Usher once when he was young at a party and drinking champagne. Ed even shared that he did not know Usher at that time and only realized that he was the kid in the club when he dropped his first album. Usher lived with P. Diddy for 1 year, but their relationship did not stop there. As he was interviewed in 2016, he recalled what it was like to be in Diddy's camp. He said, "I got a chance to see some things. I went to see the lifestyle and I saw it." He added, "It was pretty wild. It was crazy. I was like the little brother. They called me Baby Boo." He wasn't disciplinary, he was letting me be a young man. He was always a family member from afar, so I never felt a disconnection. I will always look at him like a brother. He did not go into the details about everything that he did when he was under one roof with Puffy, but we all get the picture considering how he is always throwing big and wild parties. It was pretty clear that there are inappropriate things that transpired because when Usher was asked if he was going to send his kids to this Flavour Camp, he sternly said, "Hell no."
You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy Camp?
Hell no.
In a different interview, Usher seemed to be uncomfortable when asked about his time living with P. Diddy. He simply said, "I want to save some for my book one day. I'll put it this way, there was a lot of sh." As I've mentioned, Usher was not the only person that he made uncomfortable. Puffy has that tendency, though, to make the room quiet because of some cringy statements like this interview with Kevin Hart. He went on to share how he and Usher would wake up in the same bed. Come on, that is not something that you should be proud of. On the other hand, Gene Deal was Diddy's former bodyguard, and he had exposed him more than anyone else. He once talked about how he had to guard the door because Diddy was in the room with another dude. Jamie Foxx also talked about how Puff would even spend millions for a party. Yeah, sure, it must have been hard to be closeted and not get the chance to show what you truly are, but he should never have taken advantage of these minors and other people just so he could satiate his creepiness. Well, Jamie is good friends with Puffy, so he must have tolerated him at some point, even though he knew what was happening in his camp. Kim Porter, mom of Diddy's children, also got some juicy details to unravel. It was reported that she has videos of Puff and Usher hooking up. Since Usher used to live with Diddy and experience the wildlife, there have been rumors about him hooking up with some guys as well. Though this is just a rumor just like others, it kind of makes sense considering the kind of childhood he had with all these people who were not really a good role model to him. If Diddy brought him to parties back then, just imagine all the other places and other kinds of bars that they explored together. Come on, it is not hard to imagine these possibilities because being introduced to those kinds of things at a young age would affect the kind of life that you're going to lead. Sadly, Usher had to go through with that and be under Diddy's guidance to kickstart his career. Just think of all the other young boys that he must have taken advantage of as well. This brought me to thinking about that video from Justin Bieber's YouTube channel where he had to spend 48 hours with Puffy. JB was still a kid and was only starting to make it big as well, just like Usher. You might have missed it before, but the whole video was so creepy. Diddy even promised Justin a car when he turned 16.
Yeah, so as soon as you turn 16, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna let you rock this every time you come to LA. Yeah, this gonna be yours. So every time you come to LA, it's a little dusty.
That is clearly a groomer's behavior right there. I mean, Justin was so young, and being associated with Diddy while realizing the perks of being a popular artist affected his mental health greatly, that until now, he has to deal with these issues. What is more worrying is how Diddy even said that they could not disclose the details and the things that they did throughout the time they were together. No matter how he explained this, and no matter the amount of help that he gave these young artists, nothing could change the fact that he was irresponsible and creepy for exploiting them and making it look like they owe something to him. If only people were more aware back then. Well, until now it is happening, which is making it clearer that having money and power can somehow make you invincible from the law. Thank you for watching, and do not forget to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and click on the notification below to be updated whenever we have a new update. Until next time, stay tuned for more juicy gossip.